You could make or break your child by the words coming from your mouth. And this is the worst part. You can do it totally unintentionally by just reacting. So I want to take the next few minutes to teach you how to build life around your children without tearing them down with your words. Hi, my name is Eduardo Archer and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. And this video is a part of a series called Parenting Your Mouth, where I teach you how to parent more effectively by the things that you say. All right, so I am specifically talking about how to not break your children by the words that you say. So there's a great Bible verse in Proverbs 18:21 where it talks about life and death being in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat of its fruit. And the idea here is that it's a cumulative game. Whatever you do the most is what you get. That's your reward. So if you love life, you get life. And you speak life, you know, you're surrounded by life. If you love death and you speak death, that's what you get. Not to say we can't have a bad day, but look, if you're constantly angry and cursing people out, I'm worried, and you really need to keep watching, all right? So let's keep that in mind as we start walking through this. So what am I talking about when I'm talking about the words that can create death or break down your child? What I'm talking about is the parent that uses their words to punish. All right, so punishment and discipline, really traditional discipline is applying pain to bad behavior so that behavior is never repeated again. So some parents use consequences. Some parents take away privileges. Some parents put kids in timeout. But the parents I'm talking about here are people that use words to apply discomfort and punishment so that behavior will not be repeated. All right, so what does it look like? What are the ways that we use our words to punish? It includes things like identity-forming words, being verbally explosive, complaining, nagging, condoning guilt and shame, belittling or patronizing, sarcasm. But why is this a problem? Okay, so here's the thing. The key word I want to focus on is the word conditioning. We are conditioning the environment of the people around us by the things that we say. Here's an example. If a child grows up and all they hear is you're a loser, it's going to be pretty uncomfortable. They're going to have to grow brand new into the idea of winning. It's not going to be something that's normal to them. All they have heard growing up, all their expectation that was set for them is the fact that you're a loser. And now that's where they will gravitate to later in life, is into the positions that bring them into being a loser, because that's what they know. And our words are conditioning that, and we're breaking them because of it, right? So this is why it's so critical that we start to kind of rein in our verbal punishments so that it doesn't break our children's future. I'd love to paint what I mean within a picture. I'm a therapist, and I oftentimes work with foster parents and adoptive parents. There was one specific parent that came to me during a training and mentioned her 5-year-old son, who complete behavioral mess. He was aggressive. He attacked verbally, aggressive, defiant. One day, in her distress, she's driving him to school. She puts on his seatbelt and she sees his little angry face in the back seat, and he's looking at her, and she's just driving, and he looks at her in that mirror while she's driving and says, "You're stupid. You don't even get it. You're supposed to yell at me. You're supposed to put me in a closet. You know, you're over here. You see, you're so weak. You're just telling me you love me. You're telling me you're doing all this other stuff, but you're supposed to scream at me." And this is an example of his conditioning, of him having to be removed from a home that was so toxic because there was a parent there that was branding his reality, that was conditioning his reality to expect the way you do relationship, the way you connect with others is to scream at one another, right? It's to call each other names, it's to lock each other or lock the kid in a closet. That's how you do it. And so that conditioning created a context of expectation for his next relationships. And of course, We had to do work to reprogram that, and that's exactly what you have to do in your home. This is an area that you need to pay attention to, is to reprogram how you've conditioned your kids. So here, let's talk about solutions. Let's talk about how you build your life correctly moving forward, and also how to help yourself reprogram some of what you've done already so that you can stop the trajectory of breaking your children and actually help invest towards where you really want them to go. Okay, I want to start with this. First, we have to make a promise with ourselves that we're going to treat our words as if they have the power of life and death. Like, we can't take the things that we say lightly. We can't. And this is something that's so personal. This is something that's just for you to hold yourself accountable. What you say is what you mean. That's it. If I say I'm going to show up to something on time, I'm going to show up there because that's my word. And I'm going to know that my word has weight to it, that what I have to say means something. You have to make a promise with yourself that you're not going to be flippant or uncaring or careless with the things that come out of your mouth. Make that promise, like right now, seriously. Make a promise and say, I am going to make sure I treat my words as if they have the power of life and death. For our next solution, I gotta set it up with just this understanding of how conflict works. There is a power transfer during conflict. Okay. Oftentimes, when somebody has a problem or when they have to come at you with a complaint, they give you they take the power and they give you the burden. And then you come in and you say, well, no, this is how I see it. You give them the burden and you take the power. And there's this transfer of power and burden that happens back and forth. And some of us are not good with conflict, so we're not good with just carrying pain and burden. We want the power. We want the power. So I have to put in my last jab. I have to put in my last word. I have to say one more little thing just to transfer that power, give you the burden and take the power. And so the next thing that I want you to begin to grapple with is you have to resist the last jab. You have to resist it. I mean it. Stop. So I need you to resist the jab, right? I want you to slow yourself down so that you don't feel the flinch or the need or the reaction to hit back with something, take the power and give them the burden. That reaction is what's unintentionally breaking the people around you. You have to resist it and just kind of sit in the pain of that burden. Sit in it. These are your kids we're talking about. You have a lot more to gain in the journey than you do in that small little skirmish that you're dealing with in that moment. Okay, so resist the jab, resist that last hit, that last word, that last power move, right? To take it back. Here's an idea. Instead of throwing your words out at your kids or your relationships or spouse, I want you to just pray vocally, loudly. God, help me, Lord, I need you. So it's okay to look crazy. It's okay to feel crazy in that moment. But what's happening is you're not unloading the burden of what you feel to people that can't carry it, right? Seriously, give it back to God. And I honestly just I realize now that the tiny little woman, Vivian, who raised me, wasn't crazy. Those moments in the store where she just started to intercede and pray in tongues, she was just trying not to punch me in the face. And I am so grateful. Thank you, Mommy, for choosing to look crazy rather than destroy me. And look, I think I get it. I think we have to do the same in some ways, to put it somewhere else, to shoot it in the air, shoot it somewhere else, as opposed to shooting the people in our lives with it. Okay, so one of the other things is I do want you to put it somewhere. Obviously, like I said, pray, give it to God. He can handle your worries. But also, I want you to set up a safe place for you to put that distress, to put the burden, the load on somebody that can handle it. Now, if you have that kind of relationship, and I hope you do with your spouse, you should have permission to be dysfunctional and not be judged. Okay? And if you don't have a spouse or somebody that you can trust that way, find a friend, find a mentor. If you can't find a friend, get a therapist. Unload it in a safe place where you can be dysfunctional and validated, right? And not judged or punished for your dysfunction. Okay? So put it somewhere as you are dealing with it, managing it, and learning to redirect it. All right? So one last thing, and then I'll finish up here. You have to be okay with repairing the moments that you break. Okay? It's better for our kids. Listen, it's better for our kids to see us mess up and then repair that mess, as opposed for them to never see us mess up. Because now they have a model for what it looks like to mess up and repair. But also, we'd be lying to ourselves if we as parents think that we don't mess up and they don't see it. All right? Might as well go back in and say, hey, I lost my temper. I said words that was painful to you, and that wasn't you. That was my stuff. That was my anger that I'm trying to deal with, that I'm trying to put in the right place. Forgive me, right? And I'm going to do this and this so that I can do better next time. That's what it looks like. Repair those moments where you make a mess, where you make a mistake. Okay, this is a cumulative game. Again, this isn't short term. You can have a bad day. It's okay to have a bad moment. But what we want is the long-term process and journey and evidence of the effort. Okay, so that's how you build the kids back up. All right, so thank you so much, guys. I'm hoping you got some real ideas on how to avoid breaking our kids with your words, and ideas on how to also build them up. All right, thank you again for watching this and being a part of this. Feel free, I'm going to put the playlist of the other videos here. Go ahead and just take a look, and you know, obviously let's continue this journey together, guys. Take care.